So recently I've been receiving a lot of messages from people asking me how to transition out of retail pharmacy, which actually makes a lot of sense because my experience, I've been working in retail pharmacy for the last 6 years. So it just makes sense that people see my background and they see that I was able to actually get a role in industry without getting a fellowship. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to actually transition out of retail pharmacy. I'm actually going to share my strategy as well as what I talk to a lot of people about and what I think a lot of people can work on so that way they can also transition out of retail pharmacy. So the first thing that needs to be worked on for most people is just mindset / confidence. And this is something that I noticed a lot of people, including myself, when I first applied for jobs. You need to work on that first to actually put yourself in the right position. Because if you don't have the confidence and mindset to be applying to these jobs, it actually will show immediately as soon as you talk to somebody. Like the second that someone tells me that they're not enough for the role or they don't think they have enough experience to actually get this role, it automatically just changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. And if you have this kind of mindset when you're applying to places, this will also be negatively impacting you a lot. So you just need to first of all have that confidence and mindset. So I think what helps me have better confidence when talking about industry or trying to get a job in industry is that understanding that pretty much 80% of people that actually are working in industry out there without a fellowship. So this actually changes your mindset because now you understand that you are actually in the majority and you're not actually minority. So mindset ultimately affects the entire way you present yourself. So just knowing that you are qualified and you actually will provide value to the place you are looking to apply for will actually ultimately change the way you go into interviews and also the positions you actually apply for. So it's very important that you have this kind of confidence / mindset to start off before you even get to the other stages. Okay, so now once you have the mindset of you actually are qualified and you actually are in the majority, the next thing you need to work on is just knowing how you can provide value to the other person. So this is where the term unique value proposition comes in. This is a term that's utilized in marketing and sales to actually understand what the other person wants and also understanding what you can provide that person. So once you understand what the other person wants and research that through the job description, learn what the company is looking for, what they're doing right now, and looking at your own CV experiences, you can actually bridge the gap. So that way when you present yourself in interviews and also when you're applying to jobs, you're actually a better candidate. Because now you understand that what the other person wants and it will show. Because when I look at a lot of people's CVs, you don't really know what they're actually applying for example. Like you should kind of know what area you're applying for. And you should be able to talk about your experiences in a way that you can show directly how you can transfer a lot of the skill sets you learned from your old experiences into your new job. So the biggest issue I have with people that try to go into industry is that a lot of people try to have the regular pharmacy CV or resume, which doesn't really apply to the industry functional area or industry roles. Because you should really be showing your story about how you actually could provide value on your CV. And what you're showing me is basically a typical pharmacist job resume, which doesn't really translate very well. I want to add one more thing about the unique value proposition is that it's to also understand what the competitor has. Maybe someone that you applied for the same job as this person and this person actually got the job. Try to go like reverse engineer kind of what you think that person has over you and then use that to your advantage. Because then you could say, for example, I looked at a couple people when I was first interviewing for fellowships and I saw a lot of people were doing certifications in certain areas. And I think those certifications were very helpful for me because it increased my knowledge base on what industry is actually more about. And it actually showed me what I could be doing on top of interviewing, not just like immediately interviewing. I could also take time to actually learn about industry and learn about certain aspects that I can improve upon myself. So that way when I go to interviews, I can not only show that I'm very valuable, but I'm also taking steps along the way to be more valuable over time. And I actually know what I'm talking about a little bit more. And this actually shows a lot when you're in interviews because people that know what they're talking about immediately differentiate themselves from people that don't know what they're talking about or don't really have as much understanding. So this is kind of another way for you to actually gain insights on what is actually valuable in the marketplace. So the next step after you actually understand what you can actually provide is also to figure out how you're actually going to strategize yourself getting into industry. And I think I like to call it lead generation because how are you actually getting these job opportunities? So are you using LinkedIn, for example, to like look up job offers and see which ones apply to you? And I think it's very important that when you're looking for these jobs is to have a certain functional area or certain aspects of industry you're looking to break into. I think it's very hard if you're kind of like broadly focused on industry as a whole. I think it's better to have like maybe like one or two different functional areas or like understanding what skill sets you're really good at and you can provide better. So that way, when you're applying to jobs, you're not applying to every single one. You're applying to the ones that make sense for you. And I think it's very important to be very strategic about how you want to enter industry as well. So I think a lot of people also need to focus on not just the big companies. There's also small companies that you can actually work for. So like for example, my company I work for is a clinical research organization where basically we help companies do clinical trial research. There's also companies that do medical advertising agencies or there's healthcare consulting agencies. I met a ton of people now that have actually got jobs in industry that usually started off at one of these other places that most people don't hear about, and they actually work their way into a big company or work their way into the function area they want to get into. And I think that's very important because a lot of the eyeballs are all at the big companies, big pharma, and those are a lot tougher to get into, obviously, because of that. So sometimes your ability to actually find these niche areas of industry and figure out where companies are actually outsourcing their work to these companies can give you the same exact experience, if not more experience from them. And on top of that, not just talking to people on LinkedIn is a good opportunity, but you can also figure out how you can also reach out to recruiters, because recruiters are the main source of jobs, and seeing if you can actually build a relationship with a recruiter over time. I think another piece that people underestimate is the ability to go to conferences. I actually got my job from a conference because conferences are where people are actually looking to actually get industry talent from, and you can actually talk to somebody one-on-one and have a recruiter relationship as opposed to just cold emailing or cold messaging someone on LinkedIn. So these are things that you can look at to actually strategize a lot better, getting your first foot in the door in industry, as well as looking at a contract role, because a contract role allows you to actually work for a couple of months and actually have direct experience doing the thing that you're actually interested in doing. So this is also a good opportunity to do. And then from then on, you can actually get a long-term position if you do a very good job, or you can actually leverage that to hopefully apply to another place and show that you actually did the same exact work that they're requiring for you in the future. I think the last thing to talk about is going to be the networking part, which a lot of people don't like talking about because networking is one of those things that you hear the word and you just cringe a little bit. So I think networking, it's very important that you have some kind of network. And it's something that you kind of have to constantly do, and it's a constant process. It never ends. For me, I notice how me just going through the fellowship process improved my network by itself. Because previously, I only had a couple people that I knew in industry. And over time, I'm learning more and more how important it is to have people in your network that are in industry. So first thing I'll talk about is having peers that are in their industry, because peers actually allow you to learn about industry a lot better, because now you have people that are in the same level as you looking to do the same thing as you. And I think overall, having someone to talk to that just is looking for the same thing you're looking for, same goals as you, and have the same mindset as you, can overall elevate your entire network potential. Because now you're actually working together and you guys can help each other get through the difficult stages of industry. And also when one person gets down from interviewing a lot, you can actually rely on each other. Or if you guys need to work on your interviewing skills together, you can do that. And those are just very important skill sets you need to work on. And it's very hard to do that when you don't have anybody in your circle that is willing to help you in those aspects. So the next aspect of networking is also mentorship. So this is someone that's usually maybe one or two steps ahead of you. And it's actually very valuable because this person is still at a decent level to you, so where they can actually still help you, because they still kind of understand the struggles that you may be facing trying to get into the door in industry. But on top of that, they're also able to look around a lot better because now they actually have a job already in industry. So they may be able to actually help you get a job a lot faster than you would by yourself. On top of that, they also can help you with your interviewing skills. Once again, they can help you with your CV, maybe talking through that a little bit better. And I think overall, just having a mentor is just very useful because you might have questions here and there, and they can provide you advice that you may not have ever thought of. So the last thing I'll talk about for networking is definitely having a coach is very useful. If you're really interested in getting into industry or you really want to leave retail pharmacy, I think having a coach will be very useful because it actually will allow you to save a lot of time and hopefully help you with the gaps of where you actually are now to where you want to be. So now you're actually talking to somebody that's made it their job to help people in your position. And I would actually make sure you find people that have previous experience helping people in your position get into the jobs that you're actually looking for, if you can find that and find someone that you think is actually going to help you, I would 100% think it's useful if you don't have that relationship of peers or mentors in your circle already. And this would actually allow you to talk to somebody about your goals and strategize a lot better than you would normally if you don't have that relationship already set up. So this is going to end the video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.